Hello again, everyone. Welcome. So today I have a fun little conversation that I just wanted to talk about, and something I've kind of discovered through my years of writing, and maybe it can give you guys some advice and help. So one of the things that I always struggled with at the beginning of writing is the idea of conflict. And at the beginning, when you're in film school and you're writing with other filmmakers, a lot of times people hear the word conflict and they think, I'm mad at you, grr, you're a piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. It's very much like just watching politics. And it's just, I'm mad because blank, I'm mad because blank, and then they point fingers and they're mad. And I never really fully understood it until I was teaching middle school, actually, and one day, middle schoolers don't pay attention during assemblies at all. They're always on their phones, they're distracted, teachers are constantly yelling at them, get off your phone, except one day in particular. This one day, the teacher posed a question in front of the whole school, which was, there are a engaged couple, male and female. The dude had this dope, awesome, great afro, but they were engaged and they had a designated date to take their wedding photos, but that date fell after a promise that he had made to his niece with cancer, who he was going to shave his head for to donate to the Cancer Foundation for wigs. And so the wife, or the fiance, was frustrated by this because she wants him to have his afro for their wedding photos. So who's right? And the question made almost every single kid pop their hand into the air and divulge which side of the aisle they were on. So it was like 90% of people were like, he should obviously donate his hair to cancer, but there's 10% of people who are arguing the opposite, and for varying reasons. Every single person has a different reason. There's one girl who goes, well, the fiance's right, he shouldn't shave his head because women are always right. And she was saying it in like such a genuine, like, this is just the fact of the matter. And so what I realized in all of this is whatever opinion you have on the topic, people were intrigued by the fact that they could have one or the other opinion. And so when you put that dynamic, that kind of back and forth into the scene, it creates this added layer, which I can't really explain until I saw it, because then I started noticing it in everything. Like if you look at the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, they're arguing about whether or not you should tip waitresses. And the vast majority of people are going to tip, or they're going to at least advocate for tipping, especially in the United States. But I, as somebody who's worked in the service industry, know there are many people who just stiff tips. It happens, and there's a lot of people who tip you a ton of money. So there's everything in between. And so basically, as a writer, what you really want more than anything is you want your audience super engaged. And one of the best ways to do that is to get both sides of the aisle's opinions so valid that you can explain both in pure validity and explain it like this is their truth and this is what they think is right, and they're going to stick with it, and they're going to give a million reasons why they're correct, and the opposing side is going to give a million reasons why they're correct. And they can argue, and the argument could go nowhere. They can argue and they can get to a result. They might not argue at all. They might just have differing opinions, because somebody could say something weird and the other person could just be like respond weird to it, and now there's a distrust between those two characters because of those differences in opinion. And so now, as I'm writing LeFaux, one of the things that I've just been doing a lot of research with is common frustrations that men and women have in dating. And honestly, it's the same. Like, men and women feel frustrated about the opposite sex in a very, very mirrored way. It's something I've noticed with like girls that I dated in the past too, where it was like the things that I was annoyed at them for, they were annoyed at me for doing the exact same thing. And so what I realized through that process and through like heartbreaks and just different things like that is that a lot of the frustrations that are being felt are due to unfulfilled expectation. And that you go in with this expectation that this, and this should happen. If those things all happen, then we're in a good space, that things are going to unfold the way they should, at the pace they should. Like, I don't know if I'm being like over the top in this, like, oh, well, you need to have the gentleman needs to open the door for her, and little things like that. And there's so many different levels of this, and like, is she gonna put out, or like all of this stuff that's so unnecessary, and all of it takes away from the genuine connection between the two people. And if I can encourage anybody, just try to be as authentic as you possibly can with everybody you come in contact with, because the vast majority of people that you are going to meet are not your person. So who gives a shit? So just be yourself, be as authentic as possible, and have a great time. I am about 75% of the way done with LaFoe right now. I'm also simultaneously working on some of the film stuff for Mancini Dealership and finishing up the audiobook on that. So all of that's going to be coming out relatively shortly, but a lot of this stuff is moving along really, really well. If you need more tips or tricks with writing, please let me know. I'd love to share some. I have been writing for many, many years at this point and studied the principles very deeply. If I could recommend any books, I always recommend Story by Robert McKee. It's one of the greatest screenwriting books that I've ever read in my life. Cam Weiland's Character Arcs book is also one of the best books I've ever read as far as that stuff goes. But yeah, get out there, guys. Just make it a habit. Start writing. Build your kingdom for you. So God bless everyone and have a lovely week.